All right, so today we're going to look at the first part of section 10.7, dealing with exponential growth and decay. Now, this is a little bit different than I've got the notes already filled out. I'm just want to go through these with you so that you can see kind of how we're trying to work through these problems. Now, the big takeaway from these type of problems is there's a specific formula that we're going to have. And you can see I've got it written out right here. It says A is equal to P, that's a parenthesis, 1 plus R, all to the T power. And now, each one of these variables has a meaning that we're going to talk about. The A, I know I don't have it written down, but that just stands for the amount. Basically, that's our final answer that we're going to be looking at. This P right here, that's going to stand for the principal. And what that means is what we start with. Okay, that could be money that we start with. That could be a population, a price, different things like that. But whatever we start with, that's going to be our principal amount. The R, that stands for rate. That's going to be given to you as a percentage of some kind. What we will do with that is we'll convert it to a decimal that'll make it easier for us to go through and do some multiplying. And then finally, the T stands for time. Okay, whatever we're given, that's the number that we will look to just plug in for time. Could be days, could be weeks, could be years, just depends on the type of problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 4 problems. There's really 2 different sections that we're dealing with. Okay, so let's just read through this first one and go and see if we can't work through it. Now, the population of Whoville County in 2003 was 29,270. That's the year that Grinch and Horton the Elephant built a Dr. Seuss theme park. Since 2003, the county's population has increased by a rate of 8% per year. Estimate the population for 2018. Now, read through. Okay, you can see I've got these parts right here. I've gone through and identified all of the key information. Okay, I always want to list out A, P, R, and T. Those are my variables that I'm trying to work to find. Okay, now my P, that stands for the principal amount, which for this particular problem was 29,270. That's how many people were in the county in 2003. Okay, the R, we said, is our rate's going to be as a percentage. You can see we've increased it by a percentage of 8% per year. Now, we want that as a decimal, which would be 0.08. Now, the time, you can see that it tells us it started in 2003. Now we're talking about 2018. That's a difference of 15 years. So that's where my T is 15. Okay, now A is the only thing I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to find. That's my answer or my amount that I'm looking for. Okay, so with that, let's start to plug this in. So A is equal to our principal, which is 29,270, times 1 plus our rate. Our rate is going to be 0.08. That's our percentage. All to the T, which is going to be 15 because we're talking about 15 years. Okay? Now, we can't really type that all in the calculator at once. So here's what I would suggest you do. Okay? Combine your percentages or your rate with the 1. So that's what I've done here for my first step. It's going to be now 29,270 times 1.08 to the 15. From here, go ahead and multiply that part out right there. In your calculator, it should be 1.08 to the 15th power. Now, you should be getting something around 3.17. Okay, that's fine. I just rounded to a couple different decimal places. That's going to be easier for us to multiply. Okay, then from there, we get to this final step, we'll actually be able to multiply those two together. So 29,270 times 3.17, excuse me. And that's going to give us our population of 92,786. Okay, and you can see I labeled it people just because that's what we're talking about, the population for 2018. So again, kind of walking back through everything we've done. I would always advise you to write out the letters that we're looking for, the A, P, R, and T, the amount, principal, rate, and time. Now from there, we can just fill those in, okay, see which ones we're given, and then work to solve this particular equation. And now let's look at this next one, a little similar here. The capacity of Paul Brown Stadium is 65,535. As the Bengals have been losing games, their fans have not been returning to the stadium. The number of fans attending has decreased by a rate of 3% each week. How many fans will be in attendance after 16 weeks? Okay, so a couple differences, but again, you can see my start. I want to go through, label A, P, R, and T. I want to make sure I still go through and identify each one of those. This one, the principal amount would be the 65,535 that we start with. Okay, the big difference on this is that we're decreasing our rate. Okay, so really it's going to be a negative 3% that we're looking at. Now what we'll do is we'll convert that to negative 0.03, and that'll change a little bit in our problem. Okay, now for our time, we're talking about 16 weeks, so t is equal to 16. Okay, so I've got everything labeled out. Let's plug it in. So I've got my 65,535 times 1 minus 0.03. So if it's decreasing as far as rate goes, we're going to look to subtract. Still all to the 16. Now as we work to simplify, 0.9 or 1 minus 0.03 is going to give us 0.97. Okay, I'll go ahead and multiply that all to the 16th power, and I get about 0.61, okay, with some rounding. Okay, then I finally multiply those two together, and I'm going to get a final answer of 39,976 people. Okay, so again, for those first two, pretty straightforward. We were looking for the amount. We had the principal, we had the rate, we had the time. Just a matter of plugging them in. Simplify the 1 plus the rate first, then take it to whatever your power is before you try to multiply. Don't try to multiply it all in your calculator at once. Okay? Now these next two are going to be a little bit different. Okay, we've got a same kind of concept, but we have to do a little bit different type of solving. Okay, a LeBron James rookie card has gone up in value from $135 to $595 in 14 years. Find the average annual rate of appreciation. Okay, and now again, I label my A, P, R, and T. Now my amount is what it is worth now, which is $595. Okay, the P is going to be the principal amount, which it was at the beginning, which is $135. Okay, and my time, I'm talking about 14 years in value. The huge difference here is the rate. Okay, we don't know what our percentage is. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit different solving to work through it. Now, setting this up, my A is 595. That's going to be equal to my principal, which is 135, times 1 plus R, which we don't know, all to the 14th power. Okay, now, the first thing that we'll do is we'll get rid of the number that's out in front of our parentheses here. So go ahead and divide both sides by 135. Now what that'll leave us with on the left side is 4.41, and then on the right side it's 1 plus r to the 14. Okay, now to get rid of that exponent of the 14, we take both sides to the reciprocal, the 1 over 14. That's where that 1 over 14 is coming from. Now on that left side, 4.41 to the 1 over 14, we get 1 plus 1. The right side, they've canceled out, okay, which is what we want. We want to have just that 1 plus r. Now as I bring this up here to get a little bit more room to work, I'll subtract my 1, and I'm left with 0.11 equals r. Now, don't leave your answer like this 0.11. Okay, actually tell me what the percentage is. Okay, so 0.11 would end up being 11%. And I'm also going to say what it is. It's appreciation. So if it goes up in value, we're looking at appreciation. And now, this next one is going to be a depreciation problem. Mr. Daggetts bought himself a Ferrari for $200,000 7 years ago. His Ferrari has decreased in value to $115,000 since then. Find the annual rate of depreciation. Now, same concept. I've got my amount A, which is what it is worth now, which is the $115,000. My principal P, that's what it was worth when he bought it, which is $200,000. Don't know my rate. My time now is 7 years. Okay? So I set it up. $115,000 is equal to $200,000 times 1 plus r to the 7. Okay, again, my first step is to try to get rid of the number in front. So we divide by 200,000 and end up getting 0.575 is equal to this 1 plus r to the 7. Okay, now kind of like I did up here with the 1 over 14, I'm going to take both sides to the 1 over 7 power. Okay, and what that'll give me is 0.92. Let me get this showing up. There we go. Is equal to 1 plus r. Okay, now we subtract the 1. You can see over here I get negative 0.08. Now, I've converted that and put just 8% for the depreciation. Don't put it as a negative 8%. We'll still just put it as a positive percentage, but we'll say that it's depreciation. Okay, so you can see two different types of problems that you're going to be looking at here for your assignment. There's going to be the first one where you're going to have to find the amount. You're given everything else, just a matter of plugging it in and simplifying. And then there's some where you're going to have to find the rate of depreciation or appreciation. Okay, so just identify A, P, R, and T. Work to solve what is missing.